Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new Q&A for a brand new year. We took all of the questions that you guys asked in December and then went through them and picked out a few, and we're bringing them to you now in the year 2015. It's a new year.
It's January.
It's crazy.
That's what happens.
Is that how time works? Also, this is getting to you a little bit late, but it's also because we had to spend a little bit of time making the half-year video, which took some time to create. So you get this Q&A, and then the vlogs will start coming out soon, so stay tuned. First question from cruzdbluz. Mal, when you record Let's Plays with Stephen, does it feel more like work or more like play?
Depends.
It depends on the series?
Yes, and how I'm feeling.
Okay. So like if you are rested, energized, ready to go, it ends up feeling probably more like play.
Yes, I enjoyed Donkey Kong a lot.
But if you come home from work and I'm like, hey, I know you're tired, but we gotta get this thing done for tomorrow, that probably feels more like work.
Yeah, especially when it's something hard, like Donkey Kong Country 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah, those were... I think they came out really well, and I remember in particular some levels that we did, like, it was amazing, we did really well, but they were really, really hard to do. Our next question comes from Koopalings 874, and they ask, how do you feel about people being transgender? Personally, I feel that it is despicable. That in the year 2015, we even have to ask this question. It's a sad state of affairs when equality has to be questioned in the year 2015. You would have thought that we've come further as a society since then, but we still have some progress to make. That being said, we have come a long way, and I feel like we are on a good road. I feel like we're making progress for everyone, but we do have a long way to go before everyone has true equality, regardless of their religion, race, sexuality, etc. So, until then, we will continue to advocate for the cause. So, yeah. Our next question comes from pikachaoAT, and she asks, what are your favorite songs to play on Dance Dance Revolution?
I don't know.
You really don't know?
I've only played it in the arcade like 3 times.
Oh, I've only played it in the arcade like 3,000. To be fair, I haven't played DDR in a long, long time, but when I was playing it regularly on heavy and being the stereotypical DDR player with the bottle of water and doing that.
I liked the Drop the Bomb song.
So drop the bomb. Yeah. Favorites A and V, which are separate songs, and they have one letter. In my teenage years, I really enjoyed Daiken Kai, although I don't think I would actually care for it much these days. But A and V are probably my favorite songs. And then there's, oh god, there's a song, and I can't think, I think the word rocket is in the title, but I'm not sure, but it's like... Someone out there knows exactly what I'm talking about, and they're gonna be like, oh dude, that's this. Thank you, whoever you are. Because I like that song a lot. But anyway. Tyler Barth says, you don't say, oh piss, as often as you used to. Did you intentionally change your catchphrase? No. I didn't. I don't know why I don't say it as often. I guess I don't think that it's that I outgrew it, and I certainly didn't intentionally stop saying it. It's just, I don't know, I say it less. I don't know why. I mean, I don't really have an explanation for that. I like it as a catchphrase. I think it's fun.
I don't know why I don't have mustard more often. I like it. Sorry.
I mean, that's actually a fairly good analogy. I mean, I like mustard. Why don't I have it more often? I don't know. Because there haven't been more places to utilize it?
I guess that's true with the games, too. I mean, when have you needed it lately? I mean stuff happened in Far Cry that's like, shoot.
I mean, yeah, well, I used to use it. I mean, I would almost argue I used to overuse it.
Okay.
Maybe I subconsciously thought that I overused it, so I stopped using it so much without ever thinking about that fact. I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know. I know that I still say it. I know that there's been times I've been editing and I have said it, but it's certainly not as often as it used to be. I don't know. I still claim it as a catchphrase. We still sell the shirt. I have a shirt in the store. It says "all piss." I think I've looked at the I think that's the least selling shirt. I think it's just because people kind of have like a little phobia of wearing "aw piss" across their chest, which is fair. I think we've only ever sold like 4 or 5. It's like the least selling shirt by far. So if you're one of the people that bought the shirt, you are among like 5 people. Conical Conch 69 says, how do you deal with a breakup? And in their post, they said that they had been dating a girl for a year, and I think she just broke up with him, and he's taking it very hard and wanted to know how we would deal with that. And I unfortunately have no advice whatsoever, just for the fact that I've actually never went through that. But
I have.
You have, and I figured that you could talk a little bit about it.
I just kept busy. Like, I was in college. It was my first semester. I just sort of went to class and ate food and played video games, and then I met you.
Ta-da! How long have you been dating? At the time? A year? Longer?
8 months.
8 months? I mean, I have not went through this personally, so you can take what I'm going to tell you with a grain of salt. And I also have to give some clarification on this too, because I feel like what I'm saying is not completely true. But hear me out. If you've been dating someone for a year, it may feel like forever. I mean, it may feel like a long time, but you have to understand that a year is not that long. And my clarification here, my little asterisk, is that the amount of time you're with someone should not determine what level your love was, how much you actually cared for that person. I truly feel that someone could be together with someone for 3 months and love someone just as much as someone else that had been with someone for 5 years. I believe that. But you also have to look at it objectively and say, a year is not that long. I mean, you know, I saw your picture. I assume that you're fairly young, at least our age, maybe younger. You have your whole life ahead of you. I mean, Mal and I have been together for almost 7 years. 7 years, right?
This is 7.
This will be 7 years.
Well, it'll be turning 8.
Will it be turning 8?
Yeah. 2008 to 15.
That's 7.
Yeah, so this will be turning 8.
No, it'll be turning 7. Or 6. Whatever. The point is that, I mean, even for us, like, every year that goes by, we're like, man, we love each other so much. And then in a year, we look back on it and we're like, man, after all of these experiences that we've went through this past year, we've come even closer. Like, it's so crazy that last year we thought we really loved each other. It's like this year we really love each other. And like, it happens every year, and it seems comical, but that's just kind of the way it is. So
yeah,
basically, if you've got to take time to do you, to feel
you again.
Yeah, like if you feel bad, if you feel sorrow, like, that's understandable. That's just part of human emotion. But don't let that, you know, rule your entire life, because you've got a lot of time left, and there are a lot of people out there. So
I was pretty heartbroken
whenever it first happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely understandable. I mean, and that goes back to the whole thing, like, you know, a year's not that long, but a year's also a long time. I mean, especially
if it's just been that year.
Yeah. I mean, if you're really getting to know someone. So, like, I'm not trying to downplay your relationship. I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to do that, but I also want you to look at the grand scheme of things. You know, you've got, what, like a 70-plus year life, and if you've devoted an entire year of your life to that person, that is a big deal, but you gotta look at the bigger thing. Yeah. Okay, I hope that was good advice. Maybe it was awful, I don't know. I'm not a relationship expert. StephanyVlog says, Steven, did you ever plan to pursue a career with your degree, or was it always just a backup plan in case YouTube failed? I did plan on pursuing something. I mean, if you have to remember that I wasn't actually doing YouTube whenever I went to school initially. I mean, I was doing videos, I had a YouTube account, but it wasn't like it was now. StephenVlog didn't exist. StephenPlays didn't exist. It wasn't like I was doing this regular thing. So initially, yeah, I mean, I went to school with something in mind. I think I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to be involved in
media.
Yeah, film and television. When I first went to SCAD, I was juggling, trying to decide if I wanted to do film and television or graphic design, and I eventually, shortly after I got to SCAD, I was like, no, I definitely want to do something with film. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. But SCAD prepares you very well for, and also really pushes a film, Hollywood, movie creation type thing, where you know, you're on set. They don't really prepare you for other stuff. And I realized not far into my film career at SCAD that I just didn't like the environment of that. Set? Yeah, I don't. It's incredibly hectic, but also like it's really cool. It's really interesting to see how the entire whole comes together to make a product, because I mean, there's like 50 people that are involved in creating, you know,
something small.
Yeah, a 10-minute short. And it's amazing to see it come together, and it's really cool. But like, I could tell that I didn't want to be a part of that. That's not something I wanted to do. And whenever we started dating and really talking, I realized that that kind of future would not be for me, because I didn't want to be, you know, on the road or going places, or always be like late coming home on the set or anything. Like, that's not the life that I wanted. And I actually started thinking I was going to do something more on along the lines of like local news or something. I was like, you know, I want to be involved in media in some way. Maybe this will be a way to do it. I always thought that doing something like YouTube full-time would be cool, but you have to understand, in 2009, there was no way that I ever thought that this would be something I could conceivably do in 5 or even 10 years. I mean, I thought that it would take forever to get to that point. Luckily, it didn't. And now it's been 5 years. Dang, man. If I could tell my 2009 self starting the vlog what his life would be like in 5 years, it would blow his friggin' mind. Next question is from Kerrie Maul. She asks, what are your favorite early childhood shows? And I'm the one that put the word early in there. She had initially asked about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and I realized, I was like, you know what, we've answered this question before, so I looked in our database. By the way, didn't know if you guys knew there's a database. It's like, yeah, it's the questions, you can type in the thing and it'll show you. Because I knew that we answered this question, and it was in the July 2013 Q&A. But we apparently started at a certain point, because we never talked about Barney or Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or any of the early shows. We started talking about Nickelodeon and Arrow Monsters and then Dexter's Lab and all of this stuff, and Looney Tunes. We never started anything before that. So I would like to use this question to answer that section. So what was something you watched early childhood, like when you were really young? Were you...
I guess Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers. I don't remember actively watching any of them.
Really? You don't have any memories of watching it?
I mean, we've always had VHS tapes of Looney Tunes.
Did you ever watch Barney?
Probably, but my earliest memories of it, I was like...
Because, and I don't know why this sticks out, and maybe it sticks out because I've talked with my parents, and it's just that... You know, over the years of talking with them, that's what stuck in my head. But when I was growing up, I was a Sesame Street kid, and Austin was a Barney kid. So like when he would come over to my house, we would be watching Sesame Street. When I would go over to his house, we would be watching Barney, and I never liked Barney. I don't know why I didn't like Barney, but I really liked Sesame Street. And I remember watching a lot of Sesame Street growing up, but my favorite show was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and that I watched a ton of. And I've actually... since then watched some episodes. Like as an adult, I've went back and watched some of the episodes of it, and it's fantastic. It is such a good children's show. Like it's everything that children's shows today should be. And maybe I'm biased because I really like Fred Rogers, because he's just like a saint. He's a great person. But it's a fantastic show. I mean, if any of you watched it as a kid, you should go back and rewatch it. Or if any of you, I don't know, missed out on it, maybe go see what the fuss is all about. It's really well produced.
Have you ever seen how he used to answer every child's question?
I heard about that. And
then like he had something somewhere online or in a book where he talked about, you know, just sort of the show and his life, and he had said that he had a young girl write in that she was blind, and she was very concerned that the fish weren't eating the food when he was going to feed them. So then he made sure to say he was feeding the fish all the time, so she knew. I'm
telling you, man, that guy is not only a role model for children, but for the human race. I mean, Fred Rogers, if you take just a little bit of time to read about him, like he he was a great dude. I mean, he was a really, really great dude. There was a book that I found in like a bargain bin at one time, and it was about a guy that knew Mr. Rogers personally, and it was like his account of his dealings with Mr. Rogers, and it was like everything that you thought was true, and then like a million times more. Like it was really something. I actually have tears in my eyes talking about Fred Rogers, which is ridiculous. I really like that guy. Anyway, all right. A few more questions. KDevil24 asks, how did your roommates deal with your lengthy Skype sessions in college? Well, first, I can ask you this, but yours is... We actually know you... Okay, in our later college years, for both of us, we lived in apartment-style dorms where we had our own rooms. But before that, when we were kind of in our earlier stages, we lived in dorms where it was shared space.
Yes.
And you first were with Stephanie,
yes.
right? Who's been on the vlog, who's now engaged to Steve.
Plo Steve.
Plo Steve. I don't think anyone really knows him by Plo now.
Oh, okay.
Everyone knows him by Steve, but Steve. So she was there.
She was on Skype too and playing games with people, so it wasn't weird.
Yeah, I don't think it was really odd. And then after...
Then I transferred schools, and I had a roommate from Spain for a month.
Yeah, but it was a short period of time.
She was never really in the room.
And then after that, shortly after that,
Haley.
you moved in with Haley, and then...
I don't know. Haley's probably watching. Haley, was it weird?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think...
I mean...
in fact, it was actually really entertaining because I got a chance to... I mean, I got a chance to know Stephanie, but especially whenever you moved in with Haley, I got a chance to really know Haley well. And there was times that we'd get on Skype, and like when we connected, like weird crap would be going on. Like, I know that sounds weird, but like there was a time where like Mal, and I remember vaguely, but Mal and Haley had like a million boxes, and they were like getting in the box and then out of the box, and they were like making like box robots or something. I don't know.
Box robots.
I don't remember
that.
Well, I don't remember it very well. I just remember there being boxes and like me being really confused.
We had a paint war once where we started like putting paint on each other for like no reason.
More or less, it was not weird, basically. And then I mean, I always roomed with Alex, and then early in my freshman year, which we had only been dating in freshman year. We only dated for like a quarter, so not very long. But Ian was there, but Ian like never was at the dorm, so that didn't really matter. So it was pretty much just me and Alex. And I don't know. I guess I could ask him, but I don't think I ever really got on his nerves. But I'm sure he probably didn't love the fact that I was on Skype all the time. But when he went to bed, I did stop talking.
Yes, that was one of our rules.
That was one of the rules. We would, at that point, we would type to each other. I don't know. I guess it worked out okay. And now he's dating Haley, so... God, the web is deep. It's crazy. Black Fox 51 asks, what band would you like to see in concert that you haven't already? Modest Mouse?
Yeah. I've heard good and bad things about live concerts with them, though. So
yeah, I've the same. I've heard that there's been some not so great concerts by them, but that's probably my top one.
I've always wanted to see Rammstein in concert because they put on a show.
Along the same lines, not that I have seen some of the concert footage from Rammstein, and it is out there. I mean, it is hitting people with objects. There's I wouldn't mind seeing Aquabats in concert because I was a huge fan of Aquabats in high school, and I still listen to their music, but they do put on a show from what I understand. Like, they come out and they're in superhero outfits, and then they have villains and they like fight them on stage. I'd also love, before I die, I would love to see Weird Al in concert. He was just such a big inspiration or something. I don't know. I really enjoyed his music in high school and in middle school, and it's weird, but he kind of got me into liking all sorts of music because I grew up with a very limited background of music, and listening to his parodies opened me up to a lot of different styles of music, and that's kind of how I latched onto music. So I credit him with that, and I'd like to see a concert by him at some point. But also Modest Mouse. What Okay, this is from iGame85. This is the last question. This is a good one. What is your favorite Pearl Jam song? I chose this question just so I could do
a rendition
of Yellow Ledbetter, which is the best Pearl Jam song, partially because I, to this day, have no idea what they're saying.
And you could look it up, but that would defeat
that's the fun. That's the fun. And I listen to it from time to time, and I still have no clue what the guy's saying. But that would, you know, if I ever looked it up, the mystery would be gone, so...
Are you going to serenade us?
I wanna live there again. It's on the song, I don't go again, follow back, don't go down. I tell the hair, oh, I'll be so bad. Don't say, oh, always get down, down, home, Ramones.
Watch it play.
Down front, yeah. If I get a content ID claim on this one, I'm not taking it out. I will take the hit. They can have the ad revenue from this video. I will just be really, really impressed. Anyway, that's it for this month. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave questions down below, and we will answer them at the beginning of February. Hopefully at that time we will be on schedule and get this out closer to the beginning of the month. Once again, coming out a little late because we had to do the half-year video.
And the holidays.
And yeah, the holidays and stuff like that. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys then.